Generally speaking, based off of what I've seen and things that I've heard and different things that I've read, there seems to be a real disdain for people who don't want to get the COVID vaccine, and a real negative feeling towards people who don't want to lock down again and don't want to have mask mandates again. And I've heard and seen people go as far as to call these people murderers, and that they're going to kill somebody, okay, which is, based on the situation at hand, is really a stretch. And it is all meant to shame people into complying. But when you talk about the whole vaccine thing, the vaccines themselves, the fact that you inject something into your body that's supposed to help keep you safe, that's supposed to help keep you healthy. Look, I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to vaccines in general, but it's this whole political attitude that comes along with getting the vaccine or not getting the vaccine, in that people who get the vaccine automatically think that they're more righteous than you. They think they're doing the whole world a favor. They'll post it on social media that they got vaccinated because they think that they're doing something holy and amazing. And what's even worse than that, and more annoying than that, is this idea that people who do not want to engage in those kind of actions are actually murderers and killers, and that they are hurting society and they are killing people. Okay, it's a step too far. That is a step too far. And that honestly turns me off more. The whole attitude towards people, the way you're going to treat people based on whether or not they got vaccinated, that turns me off more than the thought of actually having to get the vaccine. You know, if people would just calm down a little bit and give people some time to look at the data, and we see some of the long-term effects of the vaccine, positive or negative. You know, if people would just calm down and not be so quick to label somebody either a hero or an enemy or evil based upon their vaccination status, it's so foolish. As if people should have access to your personal medical information anyway. It's none of your business. I don't want to know about you, and you shouldn't want to know about me. But it's all about wanting to call people out, prove how it's like the social justice thing. It's all about showing how it's virtue signaling is what it has become. And so if you do not partake in the virtue signaling, then you are an enemy automatically if you don't want to bow down to this stuff. And there's even been talks, you know, Don Lemon on CNN, he was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago, and he said in this interview, he said, you've got to start telling people, if you don't get vaccinated, you can't come into this office or this place of business. End quote. And it's like, well, how are you going to do that? Well, obviously, if you're going to do that, you're going to have a proof of vaccination. And that goes back to the discussion about vaccine passports. So you either pull it up on your phone, or you have to have a physical document from your doctor stating that you have been vaccinated to the fullest extent, and you are therefore safe to go buy bread. Basically what they're saying. And so we've already seen it. We've already kind of seen it with all these little health safety kiosks that are set up at the entrance of businesses that are handing out masks, that has hand sanitizer and somebody there to stop you if you're not wearing a mask. We've already kind of seen this, and we've kind of dealt with it. But this is kind of a step. It is a step forward in the progression of this foolish kind of idea, but is also a giant step backwards, because you shouldn't have to carry around papers just so you can enter a store. And I really don't even think it's about safety. Like it's not even about it. People want to know how compliant you are or how not compliant you are. Like they want to have the power to stop you from doing something based upon your vaccination status. And so all these people that get vaccinated and they're so proud of it, they think that they're part of the elite, right? They think that they're part of the smart side of society. They think that they're part of the evolved side of society. And it's just so foolish. And again, they want to know how compliant you are. Okay, you think about it. It's like you try and go into Walmart to buy milk, and you have somebody there at the door going, "Sir, I need to see your papers. Sir, you cannot enter into this place. You cannot enter into this business until I see your papers." I mean, come on. Are you going to have a line of people? So what you do, you get in line and you have your paper, you have your phone or whatever it is, and then you show it to them. And so everybody in line behind you that's waiting to be checked, right? They get to see whether or not you're vaccinated or not. They then have access to some of your personal medical information because you got to tell the guard there or show the guard there whether or not you're vaccinated. Okay, and not only do they know at that point whether or not you're vaccinated, they also know whether or not you're compliant, because that's what it's all about. It's not about keeping people safe. It's about tracking who is a quote-unquote enemy of the state, is basically what they're saying about people who don't want to get vaccinated or don't want lockdowns or don't want mandates. Okay, it's like if you go read about North Korea, this is what North Korea does or has done in the past. And we all know North Korea is not the best place in the world. But what they do is that they categorize all of the individuals in the state of North Korea based upon how compliant they are and how much of a danger they pose to the state. And I will say that North Korea does have a lot more crazy rules and regulations than America, but they separate the people based upon how compliant they are. They separate the people based upon how supportive they are of the government. They have access to more resources. Like seriously, they are willing to cut people off. If you're not compliant, if you are not willing to bow down to all this stuff, they are willing to separate their population to where the people who are compliant have access to more resources, better education, etc. So, and obviously this isn't North Korea, but I'm sure this is how it starts, right? What's the next step? And what else are they going to want to put in the passports? You know what I mean? It's like, well, we'll just add stuff to it. We'll just add whatever we want to it. Information that we think is necessary for you to go out and just do the natural things that the average individual should be able to do on a day-to-day basis. We're just going to add stuff to it, and it's not really that big of a deal. It's for everybody's safety, and it's like no. It's a horrible idea. Massive step backwards. And again, the whole attitude surrounding it is you have this wave of angry people coming after you because you don't want to get vaccinated. That is more disturbing to me it's almost more disturbing to me than the actual vaccination itself, right? I mean, whatever concerns that you have, and you can understand that people would have concerns because this is, as far as how quickly they produced a vaccine for a changing virus, because we're already seeing the variant, the Delta variant of COVID-19, considering that we have a vaccination and that so many people have already gotten vaccinated, it's an amazing thing. Okay, so, but the whole attitude, the actions taken by people who get vaccinated, the feelings that they have towards people who don't get vaccinated, the actions taken and the things that have been said by people in media and by our government, hey, that's what you should be afraid of. This attitude of, it's like we're going to cut off people. It's all about cutting off people who don't agree with you. It's all about segregating people who don't comply with all the things you think that they should comply with. It's about dividing. It's about dividing America, and so far they have done a good job. So this is the point where we have to say no more. This is the point where we have to step back and say, okay, look, I'm not going to, enough with the appeasing. It's all, they want to put so much pressure on you, the media, the government, they want to put so much pressure on you to the point where you feel like you can't even live. You can't even live with making your own decision of not getting to get vaccinated. They want to put you in a box. They want to paint you into a corner to where you feel like you can't even go out and live unless you bow down to everything that they are pushing forward. And so, but this is the point. This is the point where you say no. This is the point where you say enough is enough, and we don't have to deal with this nonsense. We don't have to bow down to this nonsense anymore, because it is dangerous. It is dangerous stuff. Like I was saying about North Korea, America is obviously not North Korea, but there are people that would like to have control over us, and there are people who are who are not in it for our best interest. And we have to watch out. We have to be able to protect ourselves from those things, as well as protect ourselves from COVID-19. So this idea that we should have vaccine passports, it's a no-go. It's an absolute no-go. It's an infringement on your personal business. It's an infringement on your personal health records. Nobody should have access to that. Nobody should be able to know that. It's none of their business. It is none of their business. And you do not have to give that up. And as a country, it's pretty sad that we've came to this point where we're having these kinds of discussions, because this is not vaccine passports and mandating vaccinations. That is not an American thing. Okay, it is not an American thing. And you're going to hear people say, well, the most American thing that you can do, the most human thing that you can do is get a vaccination. Okay, whatever. They can feel however they want. But this infringement of basic rights, this infringement of basic living should not stand. And we should stand against it.